Hello and welcome back to Computer Tycoon. I'm CT Pro Plays, and it's gonna be our first public video on this channel of the public test branch build 9.9.03. This is mostly gonna be like an introduction video. I'm not gonna be doing too much, but I'm gonna detail the updates. I'm gonna detail the updates, and I'm also gonna create computers. So our company, I decided to pick Greed Inc. because this is impossible. We need to make every single computer tycoon dollar is what they are called. Interestingly enough. So I picked these two managers simply because I like to pick them. So I've got this charismatic marketing manager, and I'll keep this dude on idle. I don't know what I want to do with him because I want him to be doing accounting, but I want him to start doing accounting when I get into America. That'll be a bit later, and that's not going to be in this episode, but hopefully I have time to put that in. But I don't know what I should do right now. I probably should just leave him like that, maybe do a passive task. He's not really good at much. Like, he's definitely good at accounting, that's one thing. And of course, there's this, she's good at charisma, she's got basic marketing, and I'll set her to look for software licenses. So what's interesting about this update is that we now have a whole new place. This is the CEO negotiations. There'll always be a different office here, depending on what manager you pick. I picked this woman here. Oh, that's a bit strange. That might be a bug because it should be like, yeah, and there, look, like, it's very, very weird. It's not transparent, so I think. So this is the, this is just, like, where's your CEO stuff. If you want to get this update, you have to get the game, but also you have to go through the post where they read. It's the newest one where they show you how to get this build. You'll have to do like a code. So, and hopefully if you want, you can join the Discord server so you can get it. So if you want, you can pause the video and read this because this is not really required. So I don't actually need this at all. Now it's time to negotiate. What I've actually done here is that it's a very annoying process, but I've decided to negotiate all of these managers for a research partnership. So what a research partnership is that you get half a research point for stuff. So I'll give you a bit. So for example, you can demand something. I won't demand it from him and I can give a gift. Well, gifts of money are not actually that good, but technology gifts can really easily boost your relationship. Also, if you got friendship, you'll double your output from research agreements from that one person. So it'll go up to 2.5 research points. And there's also trade. This is the big one where you trade a blueprint. Now, blueprints aren't going to be here for a while because you need a personal computer to do blueprints. I used to think it was a bug, but actually, strangely enough, the competitors don't like to trade for like even deals that are not really worth. They don't really do that. And like, for example, give them one CTD, they'll always accept. So they very much like have a difference, so they only accept what's better from it. Or I think Big's computers only accept what's better for him. Well, what he thinks is better for him. Well, we can kind of exploit these managers a bit later on. You can exploit them into basically giving you more money per day, which is very good when you get more researches and you pass the first year. So they all have cool offices and new soundtrack, but I can't play it on YouTube because they are copyrighted and Gregorian's basically not allowed to let us use it in the video, so you're not going to be able. But if you go in there, trust me, this music is actually really good. I really like it. And yes, I actually also give a thank you to Forrest Funk on YouTube because he has helped me a bit now with his tutorial. Now the difference between him is that he did simplified, which is a lot easier than if you just go and do like historical, which is this mode, because the rich markets have less tax or reseller cuts. So for example, like Japan here, it's a good market, but we're gonna have a bit of trouble early on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create our computer. Now, one thing I've learned from Forest Funk is that you create one computer. I'll call this the Greed HC74/1 because I like to give these a bit of a name, you know, a nice name for them. You also get blinking indicator lights. I'll keep them like this. Display 74. Display. Now, oh wait, I don't actually need a display yet. So what we're doing is we're going to be creating the worst computer possible. So we don't actually care about the name for this because we're not actually doing it. That's going to be the cheapest computer possible. It'll always have the same features regardless. And if it's better, then, well, you're not supposed to. It's not supposed to be like that. Remember to take off the heatsink when you create this. So 4040, just the basic 4040 and dip memory. Also here you have to make it pretty small. I'm going to do that. It won't add anything to your PP cost, and essentially it'll just allow you. So 250.13. If it costs more, then you might have done some RAM, and this should be the specs. Now marketing, we set it to crazy, and we do this because apparently that's the best. And yeah, this is one thing that he forgot to mention of Forest Funk. He forgot to mention that you want to slide these sliders like this because for casuals anyways, which is the biggest market. Now, one good thing is that it only cost around 4.7 million to test it. Now, this is impossible difficulty, so it's got the most expensive price to test computers on. I won't be surprised if you did hard and you'll be able to do a lot more. So now we're going to have to create a couple sites. I'll create around like 2 sites in poverty markets. Of course, I'm going to give them this upgrade. And of course, 10% decrease, logistics, and marketing. Now, 2 of them. And now I want to do 1 filthy rich markets. What I'm going to do here is what am I going to do? Buy that. Yeah, very expensive to manufacture in filthy rich markets. It's a terrible idea to do that. Even on some of the most easiest of difficulties. It's a bad idea, regardless. So you've got 3 markets. I don't think this is what we kind of need. We might want also a 3rd manufacturing site. We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves because we're going to have to create a better computer than the Greed HC74/1. It's going to be a better computer, so we're going to actually care about this. So Greed OS version 1.0. And luckily the sliders have been a bit nerfed, so they're no longer as expensive to do plus 15, and you're no longer as cheap for minus 15%. So that's kind of a double-edged sword. Still, it was better in the previous system because there's only a couple things you want to add to 15%, like the OS. It's an easy way to get 1.15 features and around 0.6 ease of use. And since the competitors don't do that, it's a lot better to do that. In terms of motherboards, certainly, I just keep the DIN motherboard and I put it back to 0%. So, Mobo 1. That's motherboard 1. I also want a display. Display 1. Again, I'm just going to do 0, because, you know, we don't want to be failing against the competition. I add the heatsink and I do 0%. So, power 1. What do you want to call it? Storage. We also add storage. Now, this is very interesting. We want to add 550 kilobytes. And we just nerf this. So it costs around 289.61. Because this is cheaper. Oh wait, we want to call this HDD/1. Makes it very much cheaper. And in terms of CPU, we're only going to add a heatsink. So this is going to be the 4040 one. This is going to be the... I'm going to make it slightly bigger. And I also like to have I'd like to have 2.6 megahertz because the mace clock is no longer as expensive to up. So for example, I only spent around, that's not a lot of money, that's around 5 computer Tycoon dollars to make it this much faster. For this it's 7, but definitely I would like it. So memory 1. And of course we don't actually have much, so pricing we want to price it at 8,000. That's a good price, hopefully. Marketing, this is marketing. It's gonna cost us 13 million to test, so very expensive. Of course we're gonna go into the tech tree. We're gonna pick out our research queue. This is my favorite queue to use these 4 technologies. I used to be crazy and add the built-in speaker on the tape drive onto there. I do actually add a tape drive because VLSI is often researched, compositor chips, and 8-inch floppy drive is also researched. It's not a guide, but generally just a playthrough. I'm just saying how I do this, and don't know whether you like it, but that's pretty much how I like my queue at the start. Of course, many things get cheaper. PROM, I despise PROM. Like, why would you do PROM? It's the worst now. It gets very cheap eventually, but like, it's a scam. Like, EEPROM is like the worst thing to research. Like, DRAM is a much better technology. Literally. And DRAM. Seriously, like, it's a much better technology to get. It's much better to get this than to this. I still don't know why it's so expensive, but the AI researches it, which is really stupid by the AI. The AI would have been much better off. Like, for example, they could have researched 10 UN and I wouldn't research it. And it would be better off if they got like something like this, because that actually helps them boost their performance. It's a bit strange that the AI likes PROM, but I understand that EEPROMs were very common in early computers. Oh, why did I put this in my queue? Accidentally. Yeah, this is a queue. It actually fits perfectly here with nine researches down here, and there's a couple of researches we can do. I'd like to keep this on descending so we can know what is the easiest to research, because early on we're gonna kind of be stuck to these low 300 to 700 research. Oh yeah, and I'm pretty stupid. I forgot to ask glass teletype. That's definitely researches. 8-inch floppy disk drive isn't really research, but it's a great idea to research after SCSI. So is ATA. And one thing you should do when you get ATA is to like kind of blackmail all your competitors into getting ATA instead of SCSI, because SCSI is actually better from the opponent, since yes, SCSI is a lot more expensive than ATA. ATA is only 30.63, but somehow they just don't feel the pain of that. However, this gives 2 quality, but quality is much easier to win over the competition on quality than it is to on ATA. So of course I researched a tape drive before them, but the opponents have a strange likelihood to make SCSI heatsink removable media, which I find strange. I'm still battling whether I should test it. I think I should give it a save to backtrack. Oh yeah, by the way, there's proof down on backtrack save. So if everything goes wrong, I at least have a point. I can go to the previous thing. So I think I'm gonna test this, because that's what I only have 800,000. Okay, let me just wait. I spent 14,000 a day. Oh wait, now, okay, we've got market this, and I put a logistic point in Japan, and I don't think it's gonna. Spain. Okay, I'm profitable. Oh, I'm very profitable. Okay, quickly upgrade these to level 2. Okay, quickly get that. And upgrade these. Ooh, that's a nice profit. That's a lot different than what I remember getting before, honestly. It's a lot worse. But hopefully, guys, you enjoyed this episode. If I fail this, I'll backtrack. And goodbye.